Wansteaducate, this is a modern amphitheatre. So it's just a modern remake of what the ancient Greeks created. That's the seating where I've just been. And now I'm going to stand in the centre spot of the stage. Right, now this centre spot of the stage, this is where the quality of the sound carrying is optimum. So that means that you can hear that at the very best if you're standing in the centre stage spot. Now, the key thing that I want to explain to you now is the term proscenium or proscenium. There is a type of staging called proscenium staging. And what that basically means is that there is an arch over here, the proscenium arch, also known as the pros arch, which is an abbreviation of proscenium. And that is one type of staging. So, generally speaking, in proscenium stage, you have this arch over here, and the curtains tend to close in front of that and open again. And so that is one type of staging, a proscenium stage. Now, you might think that that's that's the only type of staging there is, but it isn't, because in addition to that, if I was standing in the centre here, and there were audience all around, and we did that a few years ago in a play called Ghetto, where we had everybody all around us, that would be called an in-the-round staging. So that's where everybody is entirely around the audience. Sorry, the audience is entirely around the actors. So the actors have to act in the middle here and make sure that they're acting to everybody, which is quite a difficult thing to do. So we've got proscenium arch, so a proscenium stage. We've got acting in the round, where the audience is entirely surrounding the actors. And then we have something called a thrust stage. And a thrust stage thrusts right out into the audience, so the stage might come all the way out into here, and you'd maybe have audience around one side of it, and audience around the other side of it. So that would be a thrust stage, and that is literally where the stage juts out into the audience. In addition to that, we have something called traverse staging. So what traverse staging is if the actors are acting in this area here, but then there is an audience seated here looking at them. And then over here, we have audience as well, also looking in at the actors in this area in the centre. That is called intraverse staging. Okay, in the round, intraverse, proscenium. Three types of staging. There is also promenade staging. Promenade staging is where, if I'm an actor and the audience come in, I act over here and the audience walk to where I'm acting and they watch my performance. Then some other actors start performing over here, and then the audience follow them and watch them over here, and so on. I once saw a promenade performance in which the whole audience started off in a theatre, and then they walked out of the theatre, down the street, and there were like these little illuminated footprints on the ground, and they followed them all the way to a church, and when we got to the church, in different areas of the church, actors were acting, and the audience followed them to that area, and they acted, followed them to another area, and they acted. That is a promenade performance. And promenade means to walk, basically. Staging or end-on staging, that is a variation of the thrust stage. So, if you recall, the thrust stage is called that because it goes out into the audience and the audience sit around it or stand around it. So they don't just sit on not just on the end of it, they're on three sides. So you've got the stage goes out like that, thrusting into the audience, you've got audience there, down the side here, down the side here. That is a thrust stage. The end on stage, there's no audience on the side, there's no audience on the side, it is just a performance directly to the people in front of you. The majority of the performances that we do at Wanstead are end on staging. The production we just did of The Snob, that was an end on staging. When we did Ghetto a couple of years ago, that was in the round staging. When we did Othello some years ago, we did traverse staging. So we do play around with it, but generally speaking, the majority of the performances are end-on performances. We don't have a proscenium arch, and we don't have curtains, although sometimes we could set up the staging to maybe look like that.